The Hells Angels motorcycle organization, infamous for its unique insignia and bad reputation, has a history of being linked to numerous horrifying atrocities. Their past is marked by violence and illegal dealings, from gruesome killings to structured criminal activities, and it reflects the shadowy side of outlaw motorcycle gang culture. In this video, we will delve into the most horrific murders ever committed by the Hells Angels. Starting off with number 6 on the list is the ALTAMONT Free Concert. The ALTAMONT Free Concert, which took place on December 6, 1969, was meant to be a historic occasion signifying the end of the counterculture movement of the 1960s. The Altamont Speedway in California hosted the free music event, which included the Rolling Stones as the headliners. The concert, however, ended up being a tragic, chaotic incident that opened a new chapter in the history of rock music. Organization and security were issues that were raised early on. The Rolling Stones engaged the Hells Angels motorcycle organization to serve as security in an effort to surpass the popularity of the Woodstock concert. Unfortunately, this choice would have serious repercussions. As the concert went on, it became clear that the crowd was rowdy and that the Hells Angels were unprepared due to their use of narcotics and alcohol. A young African-American man named Meredith Hunter was spotted with a gun close to the stage when the Stones were performing. Hunter was ambushed and repeatedly stabbed by Alan Pissarro, a member of the Hells Angels who was employed as security. The incident, which was caught on camera, revealed the savage act of violence in the midst of the concert's mayhem. Hunter succumbed to his injuries, and his passing served as a metaphor for the counterculture movement's sinister undercurrents. The Altamont Free Concert came to stand for the terrible conclusion to the 1960s peace and love philosophy. The risks of unbridled violence and drug abuse within the counterculture movement were made clear. The incident had a significant effect on the music business and prompted a review of crowd control and security procedures at concerts. The Altamont Free Concert acts as a somber reminder of the possible outcomes when things go wrong. Coming in at number 5 on the list is Nancy Spungen. On October 12, 1971, an event involving Mick Jagger's girlfriend, Nancy Spungen, occurred and was the subject of debate and rumors. Nancy Spungen, an American with a difficult past and connections to the punk rock movement, was discovered dead in a hotel bathroom in London. At the time, Nancy Spungen was Jerry Hall's girlfriend. Jerry Hall had previously served as Mick Jagger's bodyguard. Her death circumstances are still up for discussion and speculation. According to accounts, Spungen had a history of drug use and erratic behavior, and her relationship with her lover was rumored to be troubled. Having stayed in the hotel room next to Spungen's, Hells Angels motorcycle club member Tom Klein became involved in the investigation. Klein was first accused of killing her and put on trial for the crime. He was finally found not guilty owing to a lack of evidence, though. The precise circumstances behind Spungen's death are still a mystery, and the case is still open. Over the years, speculation and other ideas have surfaced, with some contending that she was murdered as a result of a failed robbery attempt or a drug-fueled altercation. Due to Nancy Spungen's connections to the punk and rock music sectors and her friendship with Mick Jagger's former bodyguard, the case of her death continues to pique public interest. Her death's circumstances continue to be a terrible and puzzling episode in music history. Moving on to number 4 in the list is MICK HAWI. On February 15, 2009, in Sydney, Australia, Mick HAWI, a well-known figure in the criminal underground and the previous national head of the Comancheros motorcycle gang, was murdered. The Hells Angels and the Comancheros, two opposing motorcycle clubs, were engaged in a bloody feud at the time of the occurrence. For a while, there had been an increase in the number of violent altercations and tit-for-tat assaults between the Hells Angels and the Comancheros. HAWI, who was well known for his charismatic leadership, was viewed as a key figure among the Comancheros and had contributed significantly to their activities. On that fatal day, a group of armed, masked men accosted HAWI as he was leaving a gym in the southern suburbs of Sydney. HAWI was shot multiple times by the perpetrators, who then fled the scene in a stolen getaway car after badly injuring him. HAWI was taken to the hospital in a hurry, but he passed away from his wounds shortly after. His murder highlighted the ongoing conflicts between the motorcycle clubs and sent shockwaves across the criminal underworld. It also garnered a lot of media coverage. Several people thought to have been engaged in the attack were identified and apprehended as a result of the inquiry into HAWI's murder. 2 men were accused of killing him in 2013. They received a life sentence after being found guilty in 2018. MICK HAWI's murder brought to light the fierce rivalry between motorcycle clubs in Australia and their considerable power within the criminal underworld. It served as a warning about the perils of organized crime and the potential for fatal outcomes in these disputes. Stepping on to number 3 in the list is Anthony BENESH. The murder of Anthony BENESH, which happened on March 18, 2006 in Austin, Texas, was associated with a bloody conflict between the Hells Angels and the Bandidos, 2 opposing motorcycle organizations. Dominic BENESH was affiliated with the Hells Angels, while Anthony BENESH belonged to the Bandidos motorcycle gang. For years, there had been a growing hostility between the 2 clubs, highlighted by altercations and territory disputes. The BENESH brothers were caught in the middle of this acrimonious conflict. Anthony and Dominic BENESH were in attendance at a meeting of the Texas Confederation of Clubs and Independents, a confederation of motorcycle clubs that advocates for biker rights, the night of the incident. Anthony BENESH was shot and killed in what appears to have been an ambush as they were leaving the meeting. Richard Merla, a member of the Hells Angels who was on a mission to assassinate members of rival gangs, committed the murder. Alongside his brother, Dominic BENESH, was able to make a safe getaway. The murder of Anthony BENESH shocked the Texas motorcycle club scene and heightened hostilities between the Bandidos and the Hells Angels. Coming in at number 2 on our list is Dino Big D Haney. On April 27, 2002, Dino Big D Haney was involved in an incident that happened during the Laughlin River Run, a motorbike rally that took place in Laughlin, Nevada. Although the specifics of Haney's killing are not well known, it is known that there was a violent altercation between the Hells Angels and the Mongols Motorcycle Club. Dino Big D Haney, a member of the Mongols Motorcycle Club, was slain in the altercation by a Hells Angel. The fight was a part of a protracted conflict between the 2 infamous outlaw motorcycle groups. At the gathering, the gunshot caused chaos and panic, causing participants to flee for cover and law enforcement officials to hurry to the area to regain control. The episode heightened hostilities between the Hells Angels and the Mongols, inspiring other acts of violence and vengeance in the years that followed. Moving forward to number 1 in the list is the murder of Jeffrey Jethro Pettigrew. On September 23, 2011, Jeffrey Jethro Pettigrew was killed at a motorbike show in Sparks, Nevada. The Hells Angels Motorcycle Club's San Jose branch was presided over by Pettigrew. The Hells Angels and the Vagos motorcycle gang had been at odds for quite a while when the event happened. Members of the Hells Angels and the Vagos got into a fight during the expo. Pettigrew was shot numerous times while he was standing close to the Nugget Hotel Casino's entrance, owned by John Asquaga. The shooting caused a chaotic scene as everyone ran for cover and law enforcement arrived quickly. The shooter who killed Pettigrew was identified as Vagos Motorcycle Club member Ernesto Manuel Gonzalez. Gonzalez was promptly detained and charged, among other things, with first-degree murder. The murder of Pettigrew increased hostilities between the Hells Angels and the Vagos, sparking reprisal attacks and an uptick in violence. The incident increased scrutiny of outlaw motorcycle organizations' operations and attendance at public events. The murder of Jeffrey Jethro Pettigrew brought attention to the risks and drawbacks of conflicts and rivalries between motorcycle organizations. It highlighted the likelihood of violence and the tremendous effects it might have on the people and communities affected by these conflicts. So these were some of the most horrific murders that took place in the history of the Hells Angels. Which one did you find the most horrific? Do let us know in the comments below.